I started to kind of build up clientele. I had people asking to commission certain things, and as long as I was painting every day, I didn't care what I was painting at that time. It's like this, and so I had a long list of clients, and one day I was like, it was really hard to get out of bed one morning, and I was like, maybe it's time to just, this is the perfect time for me to just kind of shift careers, like I have kind of felt like I have some little bit of traction here. Like if there's some people interested in what I'm creating with, I can really try to dive into this and make it happen if I put everything in it, like there's something here. If people want to ask me to paint or want my work, there's something that I could build off of that. So yeah, I was like, one day something happened at work and I was like, you know what, that was my last straw. And I was like, I'm going to put my 2 weeks in and let's jump for it. Let's do it. I got clients. Let's get back to the struggle and the grit of everything. And that was like the hustle. I love it. I love the hustle. I love business and all of that aspect. So I just went for it, and it's been a journey. Like it really has. So much things that I've learned over the years and really trying to find myself as an artist. But even through like the lows of everything, like being to wake up, like no one really in my ear telling me like, this is what your art should look like or whatever, like that was like the greatest feeling, and I could just be free. Like it just still felt like freedom to me, even if through the struggles and everything, I was doing commissions for a long time, and it was a huge part of like the business aspect, right? I had to do commissions so I could pay the bills. Like it was just like part of it, and that was something that I used that time to really learn how to paint. Because honestly, I never really touched like paintbrush. I never did that. Like going into it, I never had experience with acrylics like that. I was used to more spray paint because I was doing graffiti when I was younger and doing like stencils work and stuff like that, and or markers, but not paintbrush. So commissions, that was just more of like me learning. And the cool thing about it is like people kind of knew my stage and of like where I was, and they just wanted to see me kind of improve. And I wanted to prove to them like I can improve and keep getting better on like, I can do that portrait even better type of deal. So it was a real learning process. But through that, I was getting also lost through the commissions, just because then I was in a zone where I felt like I wasn't being creative for myself again. It was more so for other people. Yeah, I was happy painting every day. Like that was just like my joy. But like me doing it full time and calling myself an artist, I didn't really feel like an artist because it was more so other people's visions again. And I felt like it was like this cycle that always happens. Like it's always other people's, input on what you're creating. So I wanted to really explore what I can do, and it took a long time to find that. I had to really find myself, to know what it is that makes this piece me, And I was trying different mediums and going back to my roots, spray paint, using those elements, and then learning like the portraits I want to do, or like the subjects I want to do. It took a long time to get that kind of, I guess, my style. And once I kind of figured out my style, then I was able to drift more into selling more of that, like of the business side instead of commissions. Like I wanted to figure out how I can use more of my ideas and make that run my business instead of painting for other people, right? So that took a long time to kind of gain traction and figure out for myself. But as I was getting better and people felt like I was getting better and people were more excited of what I was creating, more of my personal work, someone came up to me and they would always say like, if you put that on a t-shirt, I would wear it. And I was like, I've always been making clothes, so like, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, maybe I should, but I don't know if I was ready for that kind of like grind, because I knew that was a whole different beast when I did it the first time. It was like, there was a huge learning curve that I had to figure out, and it was a whole different beast that I, being in clothes and just strictly traditional painting and art. And I was nervous on how to transition or how to use that. But eventually, as more I started making my own art, I started to feel more comfortable and confident in what I was creating. I was like, yeah, why not? Let's just try it and let's design a t-shirt. And what started it was I was doing so many commissions. I took a pause to paint this Kobe and MJ piece. This kind of was like something I did for myself. I was doing commissions for like 3 years straight, nonstop, just because that was my like the business side of things, you know, like that's how I was gonna pay the bills. And I wanted to take time and pause, and then just because Kobe is like a huge inspiration to me, I get my drive from him, like his mentality and everything. So I was like, I have to paint this piece, and I painted it, and then that was like, I wanted to show everyone what I can really do, or prove to myself what I can do, right? Through that piece. Like, how detailed can I make it, you know? And just, I put everything into that piece just because I was so, again, in the box. And just people took that so well. And like when they saw that piece, like everyone loved it. So I was like, maybe this is I could put this on a t-shirt. This was the one, because this is more from my original piece from me. I can put this one on a shirt. So I just plopped it on there, and I remember like going through something, but like just giving that that message of pushing forward and like no one can stop you from doing something you love, right? Like I wanted to put that into that piece, and so I came up with a "Can't Guard Me," and it was like Kobe's piece and him saying "You can't guard me," and it was Kobe and MJ. And it was just so powerful to me. And I was like, you know what? This is how I feel right now. I'll put it on a shirt and see what happens. And then when I did that, that was kind of just the start of my clothes. Like people took it so well. I sold out like super quick. And I was like, wow, like I never thought this would turn into that. And that opened a new door for me. And it gave me more of like a drive to keep creating clothes. That's, you know, I want to make clothes that reflects of how I'm feeling, because when I wear clothes, it's like I'm expressing myself. This is how I feel for the day. So I kind of took that idea, and that's how I wanted to always approach when I'm making clothes. It's like, how do I feel right now, or where am I at in my life? And like, I just always want to have a message when I make these things. So that started another piece, which I did, the Sweet Life. You know, 2020, we were going through so much, and we've had so many losses, and you know, a lot of people passed away during that time in my life, and it was like it made me realize really like what is important to us, like what is important to when we're cooped up. Like it's all just family, right? Like all of those moments, it's like you start to realize what's important in life and what makes us happy and what gets us through every day. And so I just had this idea of creating something revolving around life, because I was really focused on like, I'm in such a good place, but it's like also we're going through so much. Like everyone needs to feel like we're all in it together, right? So I need to make you feel like if I put something out, it's everyone can relate to it. And so I've always had this thing with fruits for some reason, just because colors. Like I grew up, when I see fruits, I just think of like art for some reason. So I want to incorporate that in there, and like it tied in with Frank Ocean's one of Frank Ocean's songs, which I love music. I use that as inspiration. So Sweet Life is one of the tracks, and I was like, this makes sense, putting an orange and Sweet Life. So I made that image, and I was like, it's just missing something. And I was like, you know, all of those, it really was just realization, like life is really short. You know, we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like we didn't expect the pandemic to happen, and it changed the whole course of the world, you know? Like we had to live a new way, and we really don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring us. So like I put that message that tomorrow's never promised, and yeah, I just put those pieces out, and I think a lot of people just really connected with it. And it's been amazing. Like that really changed kind of like my whole journey as far as like putting my lane into clothes and also making art this way. So like spreading out my creativity in different places. I feel like all Filipinos are really proud to be Filipino, just because especially for me, I know I've lived in the Philippines. I got to experience that life, and opportunities given to you, you know, like I just always felt like I wanted to, I hope to be that person someday to inspire people just doing something they love. And being Filipino, it's like I want to give kids, like, you know, you don't really see Filipinos like being artists. Like at least when I was growing up, you never really hear a Filipino artist. And for me, this is just who I am. Like being an art is just who I am. And so I wanna, I guess, I don't know. Let's see. Sorry. Trying to gather my thoughts. Like, I want to be me 100%. And, you know, seeing I always felt like I had a story from immigrating from the Philippines to America. Like, I want to put all of those experiences into what I'm creating in art. And if somebody who is Filipino or a little Filipino kid who wants to be an artist sees me in a higher light or doing something I love, like that's all I can really like ask for, you know. I just want to inspire. I want to motivate kids to go after their dreams and do something they love, or like be somewhere where they're happy. And just being Filipino just became like, it's just part of that story for me.